Hello, my name is Arlena, and I'm the Career Advisor at Bow Valley College's Career Services. Career Services is located on the first floor of the South Campus of Bow Valley College. Career Services is here to assist you with your job search process so that you can find part-time work while you're in school or a great entry-level position when you graduate. So the first step to finding a job is the job application package. Step 1 is the resume and step 2 is the cover letter. And great job seekers know how to do both. Today we're going to watch the video of how to put together a great resume, and after this I'd like you to watch step 2, which is the video on how to make a great cover letter. The resume application package includes 1 or 2 pages plus a cover letter, which is actually 3 pages. And it should also include the following categories: your work experience, your education and training, your volunteer work, special skills, and awards if you have any. It's really important to know what not to include on your resume. For example, you should never put a photograph on your resume unless you're an actor or a model. You should not list your age, your marital status, whether you're single, married, or divorced. You should not mention your ethnicity. You do not have to say whether you're male or female. You should not list anything about your religion, your political affiliations. You should never put your social insurance number on your resume. You do not include your references on a resume. As well, if you've completed college and university, you no longer have to list your high school on your resume. We've talked about the basic categories to include on your resume. There are additional categories that are also helpful if you have them: volunteer activities, interests and hobbies, practicum experience, and awards. This is an example of the basic format of a resume. The address is at the top, then you have your objective, then normally you put your education, then your work experience, finally your activities and interests. Then, as a closing to your resume, you would put references upon request. As well, if you have other experiences that you'd like to add, as we've discussed before, such as volunteer work, practicum experience, awards, special skills, or training workshops, you can also create a new category for these on your resume. When you're writing the dates of your work experience, make sure you start with the present year that you're currently working in and write the rest of your experience from present to past backwards. Activities and interests are important if it relates to the job. For example, if you like to make crafts, that might be important for working with children or senior citizens. Let's review content basics. The first step is to make sure that your resume is very easy to read. Employers are very busy, so it's very important for them to read and understand your resume quickly. Your resume should look good. Fonts, boldings, etc. should be similar throughout the resume. Bullets or dot points, which indicate that you've made a list of your responsibilities, should be a dot, a circle, or a small square. I had a student who placed happy faces for bullets on his resume, and he couldn't get a job. Cute, fun images are not considered professional. Most resumes and cover letters are emailed now, but if you present paper or a hard copy to an employer, use white paper rather than colored paper. Have your grammar checked by someone at Career Services, by a teacher or a friend to make sure that everything is spelled correctly, and of course, use your spell check function on your computer. At the top of your resume, you have to place your contact information. Don't forget any part of it. Make sure your name is spelled correctly, follow the correct protocol for writing your address, and only put phone numbers and emails that you actually answer on your resume. Be careful of your email address impression. Emails such as sunnyprincess@hotmail.com or calgarycowboy@hotmail.com are not professional. It's important to have 2 email accounts, one for your friends and family and the other for serious business and job search purposes. An example of a professional email is something just using your name, such as jsmith_1000@shaw.ca. This shows what your name is so they can easily contact you, and it shows that you're a serious professional. It's very important to have an objective at the top of your resume so the employer knows what position you're applying for. However, you do not need to write one if you have a strong cover letter. An objective is a clear example of what position you're applying for and your general availability. For example, to obtain a full-time entry-level pharmacy technician position for Shoppers Drug Mart. It is important to write a minimum of 2 to 3 skill statements for each job. Try and give enough of an example for each one so that the employer doesn't have to guess what you did at your job. If you had a lot of responsibilities, you can write more than 2 to 3. On average, people write about 3 to 6 skill statements for each job. Some examples of skill statements are: organized a silent auction that raised $10,000 for a local school technology program, or created design layouts for 3 publications, Fast Forward, Avenue Calgary, and Business Calgary. The job application package includes a resume, a cover letter, and also a 4th page, which is the reference list. It is important to know who you can and can't use as a reference. It is also important to ask their permission before you put their name on your reference list. The people you can use are a work supervisor, a volunteer supervisor, a practicum supervisor, or a person in authority who knows you, a religious leader, a teacher, lawyer, doctor, or a business owner. You should also be aware of who not to use as a reference. Remember, you can't use friends, family members, and generally no coworkers unless you've been working with them on a specialized project. Use the following format to create your reference list. First, you list their name, first and last, their position, their company, their phone number, and their email. Sometimes our references change jobs because we haven't seen them in many years. In that case, you would use the following format. List their name, their former position, their current position, the company they're with, their phone number, and their email. Remember, we do not submit the reference list with the resume and the cover letter. However, make sure you take the reference list to the interview, as the employer will often request it at that time. Now we've gone over the components necessary to make a great basic resume. Don't forget that the resume has a second part, step 2, which is writing the cover letter. The cover letter will let you explain more about why you want the job and what you can do for the organization. So now, please move on to step 2 and watch the video, How to Write a Great Cover Letter. And remember, if you need more assistance writing a resume or a cover letter, please feel free to come and see us at Career Services. Career Services is on the 1st floor of the South Campus of Bow Valley College in the Learner Success Services area. We look forward to seeing you there, and good luck with your job search.